This is a Kmart production, brought to you by Dudzik Chiropractic and MJB Electric.
Listener's discretion is advised. ZaBills Podcast.
Welcome to ZaBills Podcast. If this is your first time, we discuss the Bills games while we review two different Buffalo pizzas. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the big show.
All right, welcome to another episode of ZaBills. We are interviewing more chapter presidents. It's been a week or so. Today, with Breakfast with ZaBills, we have Stu from the West Michigan Bills backers.
All the way
Sean?
Yes.
Say hello to Stu.
Stu, hi, Stu.
Hey, Kyle, Sean, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
First question, how's the weather out there in West Michigan?
Oh, it's today's Memorial Day, so it's the official start of summer, and it is dreary and rainy and cold and awful.
We have that.
Welcome to summer.
Yeah, we had that last night, right?
Yes.
And a little bit this morning.
It is storming.
So where?
It's gross.
Yes, it is. You know what though? It's not very hot. So I hate humidity, and we're very close, obviously, to Lake Erie and stuff. But yeah, I'll take this cool 70-ish all day.
Yeah, that's good. That is good weather. There's some good golfing weather.
If you golf, yes. I don't golf. I don't.
Oh, you don't golf?
No, it seems
All
like
right.
you got to golf. Like everyone we've talked to seems to be a golfer.
It's just fun to get out there and hack up the course.
I'm a fisherman, so that's my
There you go.
that's my thing. So okay, Wayland, Michigan, right, is where you guys are at ish.
Wait, well, gosh, it's. I was trying to tell you guys. I listened to some of your podcasts, and so when I was listening to the president of the Nashville organization and the Winston-Salem organization, I'm like, oh my god, these guys got their act together. And then I'm like, we are very loosey goosey, and that's why we're called the West Michigan Bills backers, as opposed to like I live in Grand Rapids, but there are people from Holland and Muskegon and Kalamazoo, and so we're trying to be centrally located. So somehow we ended up in Wayland, Michigan, which is probably near nobody. So, but it's a bar. Thirsty Buddy is a bar that one of the Bills backers works there. And so that's how we got a hold of it. And it's perfect because it's not really a sports bar. So when these lunatic Bills backer fans come in, we just take over the place and nobody's going to do anything about it because there's nobody watching any games other than us. And so we'll have anywhere from like 10 to 40 people, depending upon the game. And we're all decked out in our jerseys and we're bringing flags and we got inflatable things and we're smashing tables in the parking lot and we're doing shots out of bowling balls. You know, it's a good time.
That sounds
I
like
was
you're
gonna
there.
say, yeah, it's almost like a pirate takeover almost. You guys basically storm in. You fly the colors. I mean, everyone knows to beware. And then the reputation of what it is to be a Buffalo Bills fan, you guys completely follow through. Like, totally, like, what somebody outside of Buffalo imagines, you guys are.
Right. And so we were just trying to recreate things. And it's weird because we're in the middle of Lions country, more or less, right?
Right.
And so we come in, we take over this bar. All the people in the bar who work there are Lions fans or they're just not football fans in general. But by the end of the season, they're all like, oh, yeah, we're Bills fans now. We're Bills fans. Because they just dug, like, the rituals, like the shout song and everything that went into it, and they totally got into it. And it was so much fun just kind of converting people.
So I'm sorry, did you say how close you are to Detroit?
We're about 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah. So we're not close, but it's easy enough to get to. So
you're closer to probably Chicago than Detroit?
We're kind of like halfway, really. So it's another like 2.5, 3. And I'm not going to lie, I'd rather go to Detroit than Chicago.
Okay.
Just the traffic is hellacious trying to get to Chicago.
Because both franchises, the Bears, and obviously not including this year or maybe last year, the Detroit Lions have not really given fans any really sort of hope or expectations. Do you find that your portion of Michigan's kind of split between Bears or Detroit, or is it soundly, hey, we're in Michigan's Detroit?
I think you're probably going to find more Packers fans.
Really? Oh yeah, you're just across Lake Michigan,
UP up there.
Yes,
and I just think there's probably more Packer fans than Bear fans. There's absolutely no Viking fans at all, though. So none whatsoever. But it's I find Buffalo just has so much in common with Detroit, just kind of like how the city itself and all the misery with the sports teams and the Lions specifically. And so I feel for them. And so I love the fact that the Lions have kind of turned the franchise around the last couple of years. Right. But I got to go to that Thanksgiving game, not this year, but was it this year? 2 years ago? It's all blending.
We did not.
That game, I'm not going to lie, they should have won. The Bills squeaked that one out.
Oh, okay. So it was a Bills Thanksgiving game because you guys host them every year. Like, I mean, it's never. We didn't play Thanksgiving this year. I know this was an
2
off
years
year.
ago.
But yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
That was such a fun game.
Are you talking Bills Lions?
No.
Yeah, Bills Lions, such a fun day. That was the week they played the Browns like on Sunday, and then they played the Lions on Thursday. Both games in Detroit, and they won them both.
So that was, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was the year I think the Lions started 0-8, and then they traded their stud tight end, and then all of a sudden they won 8 games in a row. You're absolutely right. We hung on by the skin of our teeth.
I was like, oh my God, like they kicked the field goal, I think, to win it. And people are like, oh my God, it didn't go in. I'm like, what are you talking about?
That turned out
it was such an exciting game.
Early on, it was a great game, and early on, it was one of those things where it's like, I can't believe that the Lions. But as the season progressed, the Lions really showed. I mean, the making of what this franchise turned into this past season started, I think, right around there. And as the season went on, we were looking like that was a quality win. That was not just a garbage team. That was a quality win against a very good, underachieving for the first part of the season Detroit Lions team. You're right. I know that. I remember that very well.
How weird is it to say that was a quality win when you're talking about the Lions? That's super weird.
We were just weren't accustomed to it. I think we felt kind of like, Lions, easy win. Move on, right? And
put it in the check mark of the win. There you go.
And we felt down about ourselves like very quickly. We're like, I can't believe what's wrong with the Bills. It was how great the Lions were. What's wrong with the Bills? But 3-4 weeks down the road, you look back and you're like, that was we are in that. That's a good team. It's going to be a good team, and they proved it this past year.
Well, that's like last season. There's a couple games that you wish you had back that would have changed the outcome of last season, I think.
Sure.
You know, Stu.
Yeah.
Most important question: Why are you a Bills fan?
I grew up in Clarence.
Oh, here we go. Another transplant.
So I'm a native New Yorker.
All right.
And my dad was a fan, and I grew up a fan, and I'm a little older. I'm in my mid-50s, and so I remember seeing like Joe Ferguson and Joe Cribbs and Jerry Butler and Frank Lewis and all those guys, and then just kind of progressed into Jim Kelly and Thurman and Andre, and seeing all those great seasons, and then horrible losses, and it just gets ingrained in you, right? Like I've been living in Michigan since 2000, so I've been here a long time. But it's just you continue to remain a Buffalo Bills fan through thick and thin. And so here I am, and somehow I became the de facto leader of a Bills backers organization.
Next question. Did you meet your wife, partner, spouse in Connecticut or the New England area like everybody else we've talked to?
Oh, he's right. He's got to have some Boston ties.
No, I have not in either place. Although I did live in Massachusetts for a while.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
People are going to start thinking we only interview people that have Massachusetts connections.
Who grew up in Buffalo, moved to New England, and then moved somewhere else. That's so funny. All right, so you've been in Michigan since 2000, you said?
Yeah, I came out here for grad school, and I graduated, and I left. I moved back to Buffalo, and then I moved to Georgia, and then I moved back here in 2000, and I just stayed. So
wow,
yeah.
And you obviously like it since you've been there for 24 years.
I do like it, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's a very lateral move from Buffalo, like weather-wise and everything else.
Right.
And so I think that's like when I hear like all these other Bills backers clubs and just like how phenomenal they are. They're all like down south, like the Nashville people, the Winston-Salem people. Yeah. And we actually did have a guy come from Greenville, South Carolina. He came to a game. He was in Grand Rapids for something, and he was like, "Oh yeah, can I come to the bar and come to the game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." It was like a Monday night game, and I'm not going to lie to you, fellas, it's pretty difficult for us to get people to come out to primetime games. So I think I felt so bad for this guy because I think there were only like 3 of us there that night that he came out, and he's just telling us all about his Greenville bar, and it's Bills 24/7, 365, and I'm like, I was just so jealous about it. But you do what you can. Like I said, we're loosely organized. We've been around for like 10 years, I think.
Okay.
But it was all just kind of like, hey, do you guys want to meet at a bar? Yeah, sure, we'll meet at a bar. And it was really like last year was the first year that we had like a home bar. Like this is our bar, and this is what we're going to do. And like I told you, they let us take it over. Like we're taping flags to the wall, and we're bringing in inflatables and stuff. And we made sure that they had wings and everything too. That's like one thing that you got to have, right? Like people here in Michigan, they like ranch way too much.
That's a sin right there.
You guys got to get some blue cheese in here, please. So they did. And there you go.
So basically, you provide the customer service. I mean, they're not going to turn customers away. So and you guys are committed. So you're there every Sunday. They know you're going to be there. When there are other customers seated either at that bar, that restaurant, or wherever, and you guys maybe half hour before the game walk in, what's the reaction? Do they just stare at you guys?
There is a very weird reaction because we are costumed up, right? We got all our gear on, we got everything on. I got a luchador mask that I wear occasionally. I got a Jason like horror mask that's all Bills Mafia. I wear that. And we come in and people do stare at us. And then the bar is kind of strangely set up. We have like the one side, which is sort of like the bar side, and then the other side is the restaurant with like booths. So people will slide over to the booth area, and then we kind of take over the bar area. And so we do have people like who will sit there, and then they'll just start chanting with us as well too, the shout song and everything. I find that really cool when we're able to just kind of get some people to have fun with us ultimately, because that's what it should be all about, just having fun.
Absolutely.
Can you plug the bar restaurant one more time?
It's called Thirsty Buddy.
Thirsty Buddy.
It's in Wayland, Michigan. It's technically like Yankee Springs, because when I tell people it's in Wayland, and then they all laugh at me. I'm like, I don't know. It's what the post office says. The post office says it's in Wayland. What do you want me to tell you?
I need to know, what is the dish, the gourmet? What I show up. I go, I'm here at Thirsty Buddies. What am I going to try? What should I experiment? Like obviously wings, but like
Sure.
what's the thing they're known for? It could be a drink, could be a food.
Nice brick oven pizza.
Okay.
You go and you get yourself a nice brick oven pizza. They slide it in on the wooden, I don't know what the pallet. I don't know what the heck it's called. Fork. What is it? They shove it in there, and it's pretty good pizza. But I'm not going to lie, guys. I know you guys at ZaBills, and you guys talk a lot about pizza and everything. The pizza in West Michigan is lacking. I'm not going to lie. It's not that good. You ever have Detroit pizza?
We were
going to
I was going to ask that because we've talked about that before.
We want to try it.
Yeah, I mean, when you go, I don't know how often you get to go to Detroit, because it is 2.5 hours away. But is there more of a pizza vibe there compared to where you are located?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's clearly more of a vibe. There's a bunch of chains, Buddies and Jets and places like that. It's a little thicker, and it's a rectangle pizza, and it's a lot of grease, fellas. It's just, I've had it. I'm not going to tell you not to have it, but it's not for me. I really miss the pizza back home in Buffalo, and I try to explain to people here, like, you got to have Buffalo pizza, and I don't do it justice, to be perfectly honest, but I'm like, you got to go to Buffalo and have a pizza, and you'll figure it out.
What was your favorite pizza when you were in Buffalo?
Well, growing up in Clarence, like one of the closest places was St. Taurus.
Yep.
You guys know about St. Taurus?
Yep.
over on Transit. Yeah, we would just go down to Santora's on Transit, and I like that a whole lot. I remember that was like the family tradition of getting a Santora's pizza on a Sunday night.
The Transit Sheridan location you talking about?
Yeah, right over there. Yep.
That is something else now. They closed that location down. I forget what it is now.
Oh, God bless America.
Yeah.
Do they have any more? They have
a few, but that location turned into something else.
Yeah, ours, we had a Santora's, I believe, right by us, and they closed too.
Oh, my God. I heard they, destroyed the Eastern Hills Mall or something.
Eastern Hills Mall is turning into something different, yes.
Boulevard
Probably
Mall.
And the Boulevard Mall.
And the McKinley Mall. We don't have any malls.
God.
We're done with malls.
Yeah, malls don't.
My childhood has been destroyed.
Yes. We walked in the last day, I think it was April 29th for the Boulevard Mall. I took my daughter just for the last day before all the shops closed. And they're going to start demolishing it, I'm assuming, soon. But, I was like, yep, honey, this is what we did. There are hundreds, thousands of people walking this mall like when I was your age. It's unbelievable, but the times they be a changing.
Okay,
It's like, why were they walking in this mall?
Right.
There's nothing here, Dad.
So I believe Santora's built a brand new building, and Pizza Plant took over the old Santora's.
Gotcha. All right, Pizza Plant. I do remember Pizza Plant. That's right.
Yeah. My second question is what is Michigan's native staple dish, or your area?
You put me in a hard spot. I guess I'd just say the Detroit pizza. Here in Grand Rapids is known as Beer City, USA. 2 or 3 years in a row, it was voted that somewhere, and we got a lot of craft breweries around here, so we take our beer seriously, which I can fully appreciate.
Okay. Are you in Spartan country or Wolverine country?
I think we are probably more Sparties.
Okay.
We're closer to Lansing than we are Ann Arbor, so I think more people are probably go green than hail, than the go blue. But if I had to choose, I try to stay neutral.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest, but if I had to choose, I'd probably choose Sparties. I'd go green.
Is it crazy there between those two schools?
Yeah, it's insane. What people get all bent out of shape, and people definitely take sides. They definitely do. I find it very humorous.
I'm a Ohio State Buckeye fan, so that last game of the season against the Wolverines is a big game.
How'd you end up Ohio State?
I originally was born in Cleveland, lived there for about 2 years, and then I moved. But I've always liked Ohio State football, Ohio State basketball, and then Cleveland Indian football. Oh, sorry, Cleveland Guardians baseball. Stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so,
There you go.
So yeah, my parents grew up in Tonawanda, so.
Tonawanda?
Tonawanda.
Town of Tonawanda.
Yes.
We are the #1 Bills
podcast
podcast
reviewing in Tonawanda between Eggert and the Boulevard.
Wow, why are you guys bragging?
We own the territory.
Yes, we have it locked down.
It's nice. You got to have something, right? Okay.
Yes, got to build somewhere.
Gotta ask, have you ever been to the big house?
No, I've driven past it numerous times.
Okay.
I've never been there. I have been to Sparty Stadium, though.
Okay.
So in Breslin, where they play basketball, yeah. It's just easier for me to get to Lansing than Ann Arbor. But it's amazing. Ann Arbor, it's the stadium is just so huge. It's 100,000. And it just sits. Ann Arbor, the place itself, the town itself is not 100,000 people.
Right.
So when on game day, it's probably the third largest city in the state of Michigan. It's pretty weird.
We've been NFL, we've been savage for the NFL with Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills. Not really thinking of anything else. We had talked to other Bills backers from around the country, and a couple of them had told us, the NFL is not big around here. It's college football.
Right.
College football dominates. Does college football dominate Michigan more so than the professional NFL teams? Is it?
I think it depends upon where you live, but I there's such a strong connection with the Lions because they've been around for so long, and it's always kind of remained with the Ford family, and so there's this, the Thanksgiving games. So there's history and tradition, and so I think there's still a lot of love. very much so college football here in Michigan, but it's not to say I wouldn't necessarily say that it takes over professional football.
Sean, can I give my opinion as it being an outsider on that question?
Go for it.
I mean, Michigan has the Lions and the Bears, two, like Stu said, historical franchises. I think the towns or cities that we've called in the South who said that NFL football really doesn't have a mark there yet, and it's all college ball.
Right.
Makes sense because there's no big NFL franchises in those parts.
No, there's gaps. And, maybe the NFL doesn't believe they can actually go into that territory and be successful compared to how successful these college programs have been for decades.
I mean, think about Ohio State, right? Ohio State football, huge campus. I think it's the largest campus in the country, I believe, student population. They also have the Bengals, and they have the Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of evenly split.
Right.
It's kind of nice because then if your team's off, then you got the other one, and it's,
Right.
But anyways. Yeah. Okay, Stu, let's get into football talk.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
What did you think of last season?
Yeah. God, so many ups and downs, so many injuries. Ultimately, at the end, I mean, you're sad because you're like, oh, they're going to beat the Chiefs in Buffalo. They're going to move on, and then they lost. But are you going to label the season horrible because of that loss? I have so many conversations with people about it. Like, if it's not a Super Bowl win, is it a disappointing season? And it's hard for me to say that because, I mean, how many drought years did we have? 17 years of a drought, of playoff drought?
Yeah.
And then now we've had playoffs, the last 6 out of 7 years? Is that right?
Yep.
So it's just been fun. It's just, for me at least, it's been fun. It's been good. There's been more wins than losses. I mean, ultimately, one before I die, right?
Yeah.
One before I die, please, for the love of God, Josh Allen, please do it. But yeah, I mean, it was sad for sure. Yeah, it was sad for sure. But I'm having a ton of fun, man. I'm having a ton of fun connecting with Bills fans through the Bills Backer Bar and through social media, Facebook and Twitter. So for me, it's good. I mean, what do you guys think?
So before I get into my opinion, how crazy is it to think Sean and I are in our 40s? You said you're in your early 50s?
Yeah, I'm 54.
Okay, so think about this. My kids are 14 and 13. Sure. All they know is Bills playoff football with Josh Allen. Like Sean and I knew you were mentioning all these other eras of no playoffs, and then they get into the Super Bowls, and then they have that long-ass drought. Like, you and I and a lot of people our age only know non-playoff Bills football.
Yeah.
So I guess when I used to, because I think one of the callers said that he thought it was a fail last season,
no,
right?
Man,
because
no,
you didn't, right?
Because
that's right. So I originally was thinking that, but just saying that out loud just now, I think I'm changing my opinion on that. I guess I will take playoffs over no playoffs.
Yes.
Playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get in. You've got to have a team that's capable of getting in to even be in a position to win a championship. And we're spoiled. I think we recognize we're spoiled. I think why some people kind of look at it that way is we're an anxious fan base. We've moved past the giddiness, the happiness of breaking the curse, having a quarterback for the first time in 17, 18, 19 years. Getting that's gone now. I think we've converted to this anxiety fan base where we've got to win, we got to win, while we have this gem of a quarterback. And I think that's the mood of the fan base where we're not looking at as we're just happy to be there. Now our expectations because of the makeup of our team is through the roof.
Right. I can't disagree. I can only imagine you guys feel it way, way more than I do.
Because we live here?
You're in it.
Yeah.
You're in the thick of it. And I'm just listening to podcasts, and I listen to national sports guys. Right. And I get it. And I can kind of tune out a lot of the negativity. And I think you guys probably hear a lot of negativity, which it's not about. I'm here for Josh Allen. I think he'll do it at some point. And I'm just going along for the ride, baby,
I think the anxiety that maybe Sean was talking about is having Josh Allen, arguably one of the best quarterbacks to be in a Bills uniform ever, and maybe the possibility that we'll never win a Super Bowl with him,
God,
or the dude leaves because he wants to win somewhere else.
Oh God, don't say that.
Right.
I know.
I think that's what keeps a lot of
That's
Bills
our
fans
deep,
up at night.
dark nightmares that probably Bills fans have. What's wrong, Sean? What are we looking
I
at?
didn't realize you had a ZaBills flag.
Bro, that's been there for a while.
I just recognize it now.
Okay.
Sorry, Stu. Sorry.
Squirrel.
All good.
Stu, I got a couple of names I want to hit.
Hold on. It sounded like he
sorry,
said-
Stu.
Well, I want to, because you guys have asked this question to other guests, so I want to ask it to you, because you said, like, hey, would you take, like,
Yes.
Josh Allen, you're trading Josh Allen and you're getting Tom Brady and you're winning the Super Bowl, would you take that as opposed to having Josh Allen for the rest of his career? And I'm probably going to be the weirdo that'd be like, all right, give me Tom Brady in the victory. Give me Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
That response is 50-50.
Is it 50-50?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually
Yes.
across the board. That being said, I think, and I don't want to speak for Kyle, I think we are both in your hemisphere. I think
Yes.
I would do it. I mean, unlike most of the ZaBills Nation and fan base and the people that run this podcast, I have won a championship. And when you win,
what an
when
asshole.
you win a championship, it lives forever.
He doesn't strap on skates. What are you
Forever.
talking about?
I'm
you
saying,
jerk?
dude, when you're a fan for 20, 30 years and you're loyal and you go through the downs and there's a lot of downs, but you win one, give me Tom Brady in a heartbeat. I love Josh Allen. I love everything about that man. But if you're going to tell me you're going to, as long as it's not something stupid like the Astros garbage can where all of a sudden it taints the championship, give me a legit championship. Give me one. I'll ride that in the sunset forever.
Yeah.
It
feels so dirty, man. It feels so dirty.
It does.
But yeah, give me one.
That's why it's such a
Give me
great
one.
question.
This is why I posed it, not as dirty as that, but if Belichick replaced McDermott to guarantee one, I would sign up for that every day. I would take that.
And the problem with that question was everyone would take it. The Josh Allen one makes you think a little bit.
Oh, yeah. What is not to love about Josh Allen? He's such a great quarterback, and he just seems like such a good dude, right?
Seems like a good dude. They're portraying him as a good dude. Who knows what'll come out in years, but yeah, they make him look like... No, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, look at Diggs. Like, everyone knew he coming in with his problems. They were all cool together, and then all of a sudden now you find out that it's a disaster.
What do you guys know anything about it?
I've heard...
I'm out of the scene, so I didn't know if there's local gossip that people are talking about.
I heard a rumor from another chapter president that we interviewed off the air that Diggs may have made a move on Josh's girl.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
I wasn't going to add as much fire as that one. I was just going to say they dealt with him as much as they could. They put up with the attitude, the tweets, the non-tweets, the non-responses to criticism. They did what they could because of his talent and his connection, and it was a good look for the franchise, but they just couldn't handle any more of it.
I don't understand how he is a problem because he worked his tail off during the season, off season, but then all of a sudden he's like crying for the football. Like, I mean, I don't get it.
I don't either, man. But ultimately, when I heard about the trade, I was like, I never thought it would happen because everybody just kept talking like money-wise, like this is an impossible thing. And then it happened, and I was like, because I really love Stephon Diggs. I think he's a great player.
Absolutely.
Despite all of the off-field stuff. And then I'm like, oh, we got a second-round draft pick for a guy on the wrong side of 30 who apparently was causing some locker room problems. Okay, I guess I'm cool with it.
Well,
I'm all right with it.
It was the cap relief we didn't get. We're actually paying him to leave.
Right.
That's what stung. Like if you're going to use that money on someone else, then I'm all for it. I get it. But the fact that we're on the hook for his salary, that was what really kind of gave me pause.
Right.
All right. Let me go back to the hypothetical Super Bowl thing.
Ooh, we like this.
And then we can keep on continuing because I wanted to talk about Tom Brady coming in as the Super Bowl winning quarterback in a Bills jersey. I'm not for that. But if he came in as a consultant or a offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, even head coach, sign me up for that. I don't want to see him in a Bills jersey winning it. but he can be on the staff.
Weird, wouldn't it?
It would be, like you said, it'd be dirty.
It'd be weird, but not unexpected. The man's a champion. He is an absolute champion.
I guess it depends on what happened to Josh Allen, though. Like, straight up trade,
but that's the trade-off.
I know.
Josh Allen could go and win 3. He could be a dynasty. You set him up. He has the talent. He's got the poise. He's got the popularity. He could be king of the world. He could win 3 championships in a row. Mark my words.
Is there a guaranteed playoff drought after that?
Nope.
Like, he comes in, he leaves, and then Josh comes right back?
No. That Josh is gone forever. That's the price
never
you pay.
mind. I don't know. Oh, shit.
That's the price you pay for it. You send Josh on a boat to Miami or Cleveland or wherever.
Oh, like Josh to Miami?
And I was just thinking of a franchise, and then we win a championship, and then who knows what happens after that?
Hey, listen, that was like when Thurman went to Miami at his last spot. I'm like, oh, not there. But he didn't do anything. But
Poyer to Miami.
Yes. That's my next question, Stu, for you. Let me run some names down. Poyer, Hines, Morris, Hardy, Floyd. Sorry, Kyle. Gabe Davis, Hyde, White, and Diggs are all subtractions. It's right. We brought in
weird.
We brought in. I mean, I'm gonna throw Coleman and Bishop up there just because there are touted second-round draft picks.
Right.
Clayton, I think we re-signed Johnson, Curtis Samuel, Mark Hollins, the center, Will Clapp, and then the defensive end, Hill, who's my new favorite name for the Buffalo Bills. What do we do with that roster as it is? Are we taking a step back? Can they maintain? Can they go forward? Can they add by subtracting? Who knows? What's the outlook for the Buffalo Bills with the roster I've just mentioned, the subtractions, the addition going forward?
I'm trying to remain positive. I think some of the players are going to step up. Like I think Shakir is going to step up. I think maybe even Elam. Maybe Elam's going to do something this year.
That would be nice.
I think they're going to at least maintain and hopefully move forward, right? Maybe get to the championship game again.
I think you bring up a really good point that I did not mention, but you've got another year of Cook who took a step and Kincaid who was phenomenal. These guys are still on your team, and they were, I think, pretty big parts last year.
Imagine Diggs was the problem the whole time.
Sure.
Maybe it was him, Sean.
Well, I mean,
Stu, maybe it was him.
When you're paying a guy to leave, I think that's the narrative. Whether anyone wants to admit it, I don't think they'll come out and admit it. But when you're paying someone to leave, you're actually giving them several figures of money to go away. How can what's the solution?
Maybe it wasn't Gabe Davis after all. Maybe it was Stephon Diggs.
Stu, I don't know if you know this, but Kyle was a big Gabe Davis fan.
Are you, man?
Huge.
I like Gabe Davis too, but I knew that he was gone after the season. I knew they weren't going to pay him what he wanted.
I did too. I just wish that he wasn't. I don't know if Joe Brady had something against him. There was a rumor that
Gabe hit on his woman.
Bean and Gabe Davis didn't see eye to eye. What did you say?
Oh, I said, did Gabe hit on Burrow's wife?
Yeah, so I feel like maybe Davis just got what's the word I want to use?
Shaft?
Frozen out.
Yeah, kind of like they called plays not for him to be in the plays.
Sure.
But anyways, yeah. So
I just felt like Gabe there were too many opportunities and he just didn't come through. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, he'd have huge games and then he would just disappear like 4 or 5 games in a row. And you're like, What happened? Is he still on the team?
yeah.
So I liked him too, man. I liked him too, but I just knew, like, what did the Jags paying him $13 million a year?
Yeah, he might explode in Jacksonville. We'll see.
You
I
think
hope so.
he'll do something
I hope
with
so.
Trevor Lawrence?
He's a good dude.
All right.
Stu, I have to ask, did you guys have a draft party?
I was at the draft.
No.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, my
day
gosh,
day
where is
one,
this,
I was
Detroit?
at the draft.
This is your hometown.
I can't believe
there,
shit.
Oh, man, you know what? We got to cut this.
Watching the whole thing, freezing my balls off. It was great.
Oh, my God. Give us that experience, dude. I can't believe we sound like such amateurs. 33 minutes in, we're like, you were at the draft? How did that not come up?
I was there for the first day, and
How pissed were you?
I'm glad I went.
Okay.
It was an experience. I don't know if I would do it again. I'd probably go if it was in Buffalo, right? If they ever had it in Buffalo somewhere, I'd go. But it was just it was.
Or if the Bills were picking sooner,
and then we drove over to Detroit. I was with my buddy Chad and his kid Liam, And they did not have enough porta potties. Let me tell you that, everybody. There was not enough porta potties.
Were you rocking Bills gear?
Oh, hell yeah, I was rocking Bills gear.
Okay.
I had on my Matt Milano jersey.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Yeah, so saw a lot of Bills fans. We did the whole Go Bills to everybody. There were fans from like every team there. So it was very, very cool. There were a lot of experiences, and you got to see like all the TV announcers. Like I was pretty close to McAfee and Saban. So that was cool. And then just seeing everything. But I'm not going to lie, everybody, by the time, I don't know, it's probably like maybe pick 15 or something like that, we were like, all right, we're getting the hell out of here.
Oh, thank God you didn't wait for the Bills.
I was going to say.
We stayed up all night waiting for that at a party down the street at our buddy Mike's house on the show.
That would have been hell if I had stayed, but I just told my buddy Chad, I'm like, hey, we can watch this on the TV in the car and then back at the hotel, man. Let's get out of here. It just got to be too cold, and you're standing the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was, it made for a long day. It made for a long day, but I am super glad that I was there, and I got to meet a bunch of Bills Mafia people as well, too. So that was very cool, man.
Is this a free experience?
Yeah, it was free. Oh,
Okay.
That's the thing, too. Like, it was free. Like, you had to sign up and get tickets, but the tickets were free.
Okay.
And then you had to show everything, like, on your phone. You had, like, a QR code or whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah, you got to show the QR code when you get there. But then when we got in, nobody cared. Nobody cared. So they were just waving everybody through. But then at some point, they were like, yep, there's too many people here, and they were keeping people out.
Oh.
So I can only imagine there was a lot of people who got in who just didn't have the tickets, and there were people who had tickets who were on the outside and just couldn't get in. So
If you could guesstimate about how many fans showed up.
you mean like the entire thing? The first night, I think they said there was like 250,000 people there.
Holy cow.
Oh my God!
Because
on
they
TV
broke the
you can't
record
tell. Like
for,
on
for the
TV,
3 days.
when we're watching the draft, it looks intimate. It looks small. It doesn't look like it's a big to do. It certainly doesn't look on the size of a Super Bowl.
Right.
But it seemed kind of. I would never say the word campy. It didn't. But it didn't have a big feel to it like the Super Bowl, which is I guess to be expected.
Right.
What's the highlights? I mean, was there anything else that stood out to you that you saw, that you met? We don't get to see on TV kind of like the other, whether it's music editions that are people that are playing, or what else, what other things beyond the draft are occurring at this event?
There was like a little concert before the draft. There was a guy on stage, a local Detroit guy, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I can't remember rappers' names. It's not my thing, but everybody was psyched about it because he was a Detroit guy, so he was doing stuff. And then there were things in the back like the food trucks and NFL experience, like throw a football, and they had opportunities to meet mostly Detroit Lion players. So it was very interactive, a lot of stuff for like kids and families and stuff like that. But people were just getting hammered.
Yes.
Like we saw a couple people puke, and yeah, I'm like,
didn't make it
this
on
is the
TV.
draft. You're getting hammered for the draft, okay? All right, so. Yeah, no. Like I said, I'm glad I went. I don't know if I would do it again. But I would probably come to Buffalo if they ever did one in Buffalo, because then you're surrounded by Bills fans mostly, right?
Yeah.
Because it was mostly Lions fans. Again, rightfully so. It's in Detroit. Everybody's happy, and Lions are kicking butt. And but to be held in Buffalo, oh my God, it'd be amazing.
Speaking about coming to Buffalo, how often do you come back to Buffalo? And if so, do you come back for Bills games only, or?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't get back often. I wish I did. The last time I was in Buffalo was for a Bills game. It was for the Bills Titans home opener. What was that, like 3 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, that was an amazing game.
That wasn't a Monday night game, was it?
Oh yeah, they destroyed.
Yeah.
They destroyed the Titans. And I don't think I'd been to a home game in forever. So it was amazing to kind of, like, Bills Mafia did not exist when I was like a teenager and in my 20s.
Right.
You were just a fan. Like, Bills Mafia became a thing in was it 2007, 2008?
Yeah, what did Del Reed tell us?
Stevie Johnson, I think.
Stevie Johnson.
Yeah, Stevie Johnson,
So it
yeah.
would have been Stevie Johnson's kind of season.
Do you still have family back here?
Yeah, my mom's still back in Buffalo, and I got a brother back in Buffalo. But yeah, I just I don't get back very often. Although I am coming back September 21st to see the one and only Dr. Dirty John Valby.
Oh, geez, nice.
Dude, he's like 79, and he's still banging on the piano singing dirty songs.
Sean, you know
and I'm
who
like,
that is,
I
right?
got to see this guy before he dies.
Hold on,
So he's
Stu.
on a
Stu, hold
Saturday.
on. He doesn't know who he is.
I don't. I kind of consider myself someone who knows music, but I don't know who this guy is.
Stu, tell him
John
who he is.
Valby is a Buffalo legend, and he just sings dirty, funny songs.
Really? Maybe I do know who he
yeah.
is. Wow.
Is it Dr. John Valdy?
Dr. John Valby, Valby.
Where-
Dr. Dirty.
Where are you seeing him?
He's at Rob's Comedy Playhouse.
Yes. Okay.
Is that still in Lackawanna?
No, I think it's in Kenmore.
It's over by UB, unless they moved it again.
Oh.
I think he's got a spot at the old Philip Sheridan building.
Oh,
I don't know if it's there anymore.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, no. Bills
Used to be
Mafia.
at, Daffodils or something like that.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's on Maple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it was. It's
Is there a home Bills game or a away game that weekend?
That was the thing. I'm like, because the show's on Saturday. I'm like, oh well, hell, I'm gonna I'll go see the game.
Oh, it's a
on
primetime
Sunday.
game,
It's a
isn't
home
it?
game,
I'm
but
looking at
it's they're playing Monday night against the Jags. And I can't stay for that, so it stinks.
That's all right. We probably won't make it up either. We hate these primetime games.
Yeah, I'm excited for 1 p.m. games. Those
We
are my
we
favorite.
hate the day after. We don't hate the prime time
I like
games. We
Saturday
hate the
night.
day after.
I like Saturday night games.
Yeah,
Not
for
Sunday
sure.
and not Thursday, and unless I can retire sooner than later. But
This past year, I fell in love with 4 p.m. games. I thought that was like
oh, that's nice.
that was the perfect fit. That's where we didn't get a lot of them, but for whatever reason, this past season, the Bills played like 4 or 5 4:00 games, and we're like, wow,
Right.
I could get used to this.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You can do stuff during the day. You could watch the game, then you go home and you're good. It's good to go, man.
You're right. Jags, September 23rd, so 2 days later. That's a Monday night.
Yeah.
And Bills Mafia was coined in 2011. We were close.
okay.
There you go. I knew it was something like that. So, but I am going to 2 games. I'm going to the game in Detroit this year, and then I'm going to the game in Indy.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
That's right, because we play Detroit because we're division winners.
Yep.
So that's right. I'm looking at that. Oh, man.
How far is a drive to Indianapolis from you? I know it's about 10 hours or 14 hours from here.
Indy is 4 to 5.
Oh, that's
so
not
super
that's not bad at all. I have a friend that grew up across the street from me back home, and he lives in Indianapolis, and he'll drive through, and it's like 10, 14 hours or something ridiculous.
Ugh, gross. That's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah. Yep.
Indy's a pretty nice city, though. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I have not.
mean, it gets a bad rap, but it's all right.
I should probably visit him sometime.
Yeah, sure.
So, anyways, okay. So, how did you think the Bills drafted?
I like the draft. Am I being like a super optimist Mark Homer, dude? I other than like them trading out of the first, like I really thought that Bean was going to trade up to get a receiver.
Right.
But then when he kept trading out to get more picks, and then we got the very first pick in the second round, that's a good thing because you don't have to pay Keon Coleman. You don't have to pay him like first round money, and he's essentially a first rounder, right?
Yep.
I thought it was a good pick.
Keon Coleman, I found out today, maybe you already knew this, and I'm slow to the take. Keon Coleman is cousins with C.D. Lamb.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
Yep, I saw that today on Facebook or ESPN or somebody that he's working out with C.D. Lamb.
Can you imagine? That would be a bull.
Yeah,
That would be...
it's pretty cool.
That would be,
That's some good DNA.
You're right. You send the family out there and put a bug in his ear. Hey, we'd love to have you in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Josh
There you go.
Allen sells everything you need. C.D. Lamb. Wow, that would be cool.
All right, continue on.
Who wouldn't want to play with Josh Allen?
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
I think he's our number one
I
draw.
wonder if people are like back in the year of Friends when Ross was making that list of pros and cons,
Sure.
and Rachel saw that she had chubby ankles and everything fell apart. Do you think guys are making the pros and cons? Josh Allen, pro. Cons, shitty weather. Doesn't win a
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Like, how many more pros are there or more cons are there than pros if they're doing their checklist?
Pro chicken wing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and then
Like, that's people at the... We'll get into the Sabres talk a little bit later, but...
and that's well, and I think one of the things we're going to be able to take off the cons is we're getting a new stadium in 2 years.
Do you think
Right,
players
yeah.
really give a shit, though?
Oh, I absolutely do. And across all 4 major sports, they know They know when they're going into a shitty barn versus when they're being wined and dined like in Dallas. Not only do they care, I think that's a big draw. I think that's a big draw.
Don't they just run a nice locker room? Most fields are standard, right?
Yeah, but no, I don't think so.
All right.
I mean,
New stadium's grass, right?
New stadium is not grass, right? Or am I wrong?
Okay.
I don't.
I thought they got pissed that they weren't putting grass in it.
I will fact check that one. I think it could be grass because it's got an open roof.
Right.
I will look
All
at
right,
it.
I might be wrong. Maybe they are putting grass in it, but I don't know. Okay, so after Keon Coleman, they took who did they take, Sean?
They took him in the second round.
Bishop?
Bishop, yeah.
Okay.
Cornerback.
He's great. I mean, Kincaid was just chatting that dude up and blowing smoke. So I think that was a good pick there too.
I think as long as they fill the holes that they need, wide receiver, linebacker, safety, a cornerback, some linemen. I mean, look, we have 10, 11 picks. As long as 5 of them become actual good starters, I would take that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how many good starters did we get last year's draft? Kincaid, maybe Cyril Terrence, whatever his name is.
He played every snap. Yeah,
Right.
that you put that in the win column for your drafting.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
You didn't have to worry about injury and then trying to figure out. So hopefully we have a good center this year. That would be great for the line.
Grass stadium.
It is. Okay. All right. I was wrong. Okay. Hopefully
I wanted
Josh.
to pick out of Duke, the defensive lineman, Carter. That guy's been a captain for 3 years, and he's at Duke, so he's a smart dude. I think he's a solid. Well, he was a 3rd rounder, 4th rounder,
Somewhere in there, yeah.
What's
I
more?
thought that was a solid pick.
What's more encouraging? The players they picked. The ESPN makes every guy drafted look like a stud.
Right.
Or are you just, hey, you know what? I have 100% faith in Bean, and that guy's proved himself. And I'm willing to sit back and watch him prove it again, that he can pick these players, and these players are going to be quality Bills for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
What do you say about Elam then?
Jury's still out. He had...
How many seasons has it been? 2, 3 seasons?
Listen, you can argue he had the play of the last Buffalo Bills playoff game. That interception. I'm just saying.
So that one play is good enough for the lack of 2 seasons, 3 seasons on the field?
It gives me hope that there's more.
All right.
Gives me more that there's hope, but you can't deny that fact that interception was one of the biggest plays the Bills had in their last playoff game in Buffalo.
Sure.
Okay.
He redeemed himself because I think it was like 2 or 3 plays before that. He really muffed something.
Yes, he did.
It was like, he's got to redeem himself, and he did.
Yeah.
So where are you with Bean? Do you feel like he's GM quality? Do you feel like his moves are going to pay off like they sort of did last season?
He's big baller Bean. I'm all about Bean. I have 0 problems with him. I know a lot of people want him gone. They want McDermott gone.
Oh, okay. What do you think about that guy?
I like McDermott too.
Damn, but this guy is too nice.
Am I a homer? Call me a homer.
Too nice. He's too
I don't
nice.
have any problems with these guys.
I don't know if Stu's too nice. I think Stu's still living in the moment. And I appreciate that, buddy. I mean, I appreciate the ability to still be happy-go-lucky with the franchise because he knows what it's like when you're on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I kind of waffle. I have the anxiety, but I still have faith in Bean that he can do it. I like what you said about not paying him first-round money because we don't have a lot of money, and that's a good way of going. Give me your Stu. I got a 2-part question.
Okay.
Give me your biggest Bills moment from this past season, and I want to know. Kyle kind of got to this one. Why are you a Bills fan in the first place? Give me your biggest Bills memory. It doesn't have to be from this past year, but the one that solidified you as a Buffalo Bills fan.
All right. Couple Bills memories. Like when I was a senior in high school is when Kelly and Reed and Smith were all kind of coming together. And I just remember I cut out a class. I left school this was when you actually had to go to, what was it, like M&T Bank to buy tickets, or you had to go to Rich Stadium at the time to buy tickets. I just remember I left school. I got in my car. I drove down to Rich Stadium and bought tickets for whatever game because I was so psyched. And then I just came back to school and nobody said anything about anything. I missed like 2 or 3 classes and nobody cared. So I remember that.
I got to ask, what game was that for? What
What's that?
what was the game that you got the tickets for? You skipped school, got the tickets.
What was it? It was like it wasn't a playoff game, but it was like it was towards the end of the season. It was like an important game. God, who was it? I can't even remember who it was.
It had to be either pre-Kelly era or Kelly era. If you're still in high school,
it was Kelly era. It was definitely Jim Kelly
it's got to
era.
be like late '80s, '90s.
Yeah, it was '88.
Okay.
I
Oh
was
my
a senior in high
god.
school in '88.
Yes, I mean Bill's fever was.
Was that the year they lost to the Browns?
I think so, but
Well,
Ronnie Harmon dropped the ball?
I was there for that game, fellas.
You
I
were?
was in Cleveland for that game.
oh my,
No kidding.
goodness.
And I did not see that play because I was so nervous. Everybody else was standing up, and I just stayed in my seat, and I didn't see it. And then so I actually saw it on like replay later. Ronnie Harmon just not catching that ball, and I was like, oh my god! But I was there for that. And then the next year was the AFC Championship game in Cincinnati, and I was there for that game as well too. And that was weird. I paid $100 for that ticket, and we got a ride. This was again in the day and age where you bought tickets from like people in the newspaper.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I bought tickets from this guy in the newspaper, and then we got a ride with him. Me and my buddy Chad got a ride with this guy in like his raper van.
Uber before Uber was a thing.
Windowless white van. Parents were like, "Yep, we'll see in a couple hours. Just bring him back."
And then, yeah, it was. We got back. We were all fine. Nobody got hurt. But yeah, that was just back in the day when people could still kind of hitchhike, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, oh my god, yeah, we got hammered too. And I just remember like walking. I had a broken ankle at the time, so I'm in my cast, and we're walking on a riverfront, and everybody's going nuts. And like me and my buddy Chad, we had our Bills gear on or whatever. And people were just heckling us so bad. And we were like, what are we going to do? All right, there's two of us and like 80,000 people. Like, what are we going to do? And it's just, it was brutal, but I mean, that was a good memory too. And then, of course, that was kind of the beginning of the Super Bowl run after that.
Right.
So
They were just entering the prime, like the legit they're the legitimate Super Bowl runs. Like you were like, I mean, in your prime. They were going into their prime. That had to be a good. What was your? I got to ask. What was your Super Bowl that window from 90 to 94? What was your kind of?
Well, the game against the Giants, I was at my buddy's house in college, and we were watching the game. And I mean, we all know how it turned out with the whole wide right. People still say wide right to me. And I'm like, God, please just shut up, okay? That happened in like, what was it, 91, 92? Please stop. And then, yeah, it just got worse, right? Then they lost to the Redskins, and then they lost 2 in a row to the Cowboys. Yeah. By the fourth one, I don't know where you guys were at. I was almost like, please just lose in the AFC Championship game. Yeah. I didn't want them to go. I was like, please don't go.
Yeah. I heard a insider thing on the wide right that President, who would have been president?
Bush. It would have been.
So Bush was at the game.
Herbert Walker.
And they had security helicopters above, and apparently the swirling winds from the helicopter affected that kick.
I've heard that too. I was like, is that legit?
We'll take anything.
Yeah.
We'll take any sort of glimpse of.
Random question. Yeah. Does your family go to the Thirsty Buddy with you for some of the games that are reasonable times?
I am a single fella, everybody. I'm a single fella. I don't have any kids. I got nothing. So I sort of have no responsibilities. But, you know, I've had girlfriends at the time who I would drag along to games like when they played the Browns and they played the Lions that 2 years ago. I took the girl I was dating at the time to come out, and she had the Bills jerseys on and everything too. She totally got into it. So it's a thing that people easily fall into, of just like the fun, the excitement, the tailgating, and the singing and everything else too. So I try to drag people along. I'm always inviting people. I'm like, hey, you don't have to necessarily be a Bills fan, but come on out and experience this stuff.
I think becoming a Bills fan is easy with like you said earlier, Josh Allen. He's just looks like a decent guy, and it's easy to like him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Super. I love that. I wouldn't call it a commercial, but that thing they were doing about building the stadium, and he was like living in the
Camping out.
pit.
Yes.
And
So
he was
funny, man.
playing in my dirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, playing in the dirt, and Steve Tasker there at the end. Oh, so funny.
Yeah. They got a good video coordinator or whatever you want to call that, or social PR
social media
people.
person or whatever.
Yeah, they're clever.
Do you think that it's a good idea for athletes, like, not even necessarily Bills, but athletes to have social media?
Ooh, that's a good question. I hate social media,
Yeah.
but I guess it depends on how responsible you are with it.
I you know what? I think with Tom Brady, he was really maybe the first one that made himself a brand, TB12. And I think other athletes saw that, and it was like, there's life beyond the sport.
Cash money.
Right. I'm only going to have this window, and this allows me to maximize it. I've seen stars cancel their Twitter pages or their X pages. I've seen, basketball, NBA, football embrace it, and it's great. It's good for the fan, I think. But if I was the athlete, man, I don't know. I don't know. I love these guys who say I never read the paper, I never read the posts. Damn well they do. And if I was in their I couldn't do it. I would shut myself out of all that.
I just feel like so many problems happen because of Diggs and social media.
Right.
Like all the weird, like, cryptic stuff he would tweet.
Yes.
And,
Or Antonio Brown.
I don't know what he's tweeting about, but I'm sure Josh Allen or other
Sure.
people on the team know. So.
Yeah. I mean, look how much trouble Antonio Brown would have been in if he didn't have a Twitter.
Right,
Guy's
exactly.
a psycho.
That dude's insane.
Yeah. Are you a Sabres fan?
Man, I was when I lived in Buffalo, but it was just so easy for me to fall out of it. So I've tried to watch games. I try to keep up, but they've just been so bad. That when a team is so bad, it's easy just to kind of step away from it,
Did you convert to a Blackhawks or a Red Wings fan?
No. I'm still would consider myself a Sabres fan, but clearly more casual. I'm not rooting for the Wings or the Blackhawks.
You did hear that Lindy Ruff is back, though, right?
Yeah, I did hear that. And I kind of had mixed feelings about it. I know everybody loved him, but sometimes I feel like that's the problem with the Sabres of, like, they fall in love with ex-players who become coaches. And I'm like, did we already do this? Like, what happened? But
I think
if he can turn things around, great.
I think for 2 years he'll be all right until they get something figured out. Hopefully he can fix the locker room.
I love Lindy as a player.
Yeah. I'm hoping that he is the McDermott of the Bills. Like, you come in, change the culture, fix the locker room, maybe get him into the playoffs, send him on his way, bring in somebody else. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't have any faith that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think he's going to be, maybe 2 years.
Stu believes.
Stu's
very.
I like Stu. Stu's optimistic. Stu is totally 100% on board. Optimistic.
It's weird because in life everybody calls me pessimistic and I hate everything.
In this 57-minute interview we've had so far,
this.
You've been nothing but glowing, brother, and that's good because you know what? It's the off season for both the major sports teams around here. There's not a lot. There's you're waiting and kind of biding your time, and then you have someone who has a conversation who's just upbeat about it, and you walk away thinking, you know what? He's right. He's on to something there. Maybe I got to look at these draft picks a little bit more and feel a little more positive about this upcoming Bill season.
What do you think? How do you think the Bills are going to fare with that schedule?
I think they'll be okay. I think they're still going to they're going to run the East. I think it's still going through Buffalo. New England is still a mess. I don't think Aaron Rodgers coming back is going to do a ton for the Jets. Miami lost just as much as we did, I think. So, I don't see them like being the king that we got to get over. I think it's still going to run through Buffalo. I feel okay that way. And I know as a, first place schedule, it's going to be tougher. We got Kansas City again. We got Detroit. It's going to be rough, San Francisco. But I think we'll be okay. I think we got at least 10, 11 wins.
Do you think they're going to come hot out of the gate or in old Bills fashion, come out of the gate kind of slow?
Stumble.
Yeah, and then hit it hot at the end of the year like they usually do?
I think we're going to be okay. It's going to start good. Like, I know we lost to the Jets last year. This year, who are we playing? Cardinals, first game of the year?
Yes, sir.
I think we'll beat the Cardinals. I mean, we're going to start with a tomato can right off the bat, which I think will be good. So I think we'll start hot and then we'll end hot. And I would rather always like end hot. Like you guys were talking about the Lions winning 8 in a row. I'd like to be the Bills. Let's win 8 in a row. Let's do this.
If they can start hot, I mean that would be, if they have a great
set the
first
tone
6 weeks. You know, Arizona, I agreed. Then they go. Then they play at Miami,
2-0.
Then they go Jacksonville,
3-0.
Baltimore,
3-1.
and then you hit this streak of you got Houston, Jets, Tennessee, Seattle, Miami, Indy, and it's like that could be a gold mine right there.
You skipped San Fran, didn't you?
No, San Fran. Then after Indy we go Kansas City, then San Francisco. Then you've got those, but you've got those home. Did you find it? This is a weird question, Stu. It's been bugging me, but not. The Bills play 3 games on the road, back to back to back. I don't ever remember that.
All prime times?
No.
Weeks 2, 3, and 4 are prime time.
Nope, you're absolutely right. No, not prime time. 2 of the 4. Baltimore and the Jets are prime time. Houston is a 1 o'clock.
I thought weeks 2, 3, and 4, there are 3 in a row that are prime time.
Nope. Yep, you're absolutely right. But those aren't the ones I'm talking about that are on the road.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
They go prime time, away, home, and then they go Baltimore, Houston, Jets, all on the road. 2 of the 3 of those are prime time. I don't ever remember
Is the Houston
a
game
schedule.
prime time because of Diggs?
Nope, 1 o'clock.
Oh, I wonder if it's too bad they probably would love to flex that now.
Right, and that's it for a while. After that, they only play 1 primetime game against San Francisco on December 1st. But that to me is just quirky, like almost NHL-ish, where you go on a road trip, like a 3 games in a row road trip.
And sorry, Sean, what were the 3 in a row that are road trips?
3 in a row, 4 of 5 are on the road. They
Okay.
go Baltimore, Houston, Jets.
Hold on. East Coast, East Coast, East Coast.
I know it's not
so
much.
that's okay.
I know it's not. It's just odd, kind of a quirk in the schedule.
Okay.
Really. I mean, look at the schedule. Arizona's at home. Then they go 4 of the 5 on the road. Miami's at away. Jacksonville's at home.
East Coast, East Coast, East Coast,
Houston, Jets.
East Coast, East Coast.
Right.
Okay.
It seems like
At least they're not going back and forth, West Coast, East
Right,
Coast,
I
East
agree.
Coast, West Coast.
Right, that's horrible. No international games, too, thank God.
Oh, those are brutal.
Yeah,
It was all right. Like, I mean, okay, so the outcome was bad, but
It was the
in
only
terms
time-
of fandom and viewership, we did have a little driveway party for brunch.
Yes.
So
And we actually had breakfast pizza that
we had
that time.
breakfast pizzas that day, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, nice.
Yeah.
I just recently saw Milano this past week, and he's looking great. He's not at all held back. He's walking normal. There's no limp. There's no sign of anything. But
Did your wife see him?
what's that?
I said, did your wife see him?
I keep her as far away from those Buffalo Bills as possible. Yeah, far
Especially
away.
Josh Allen.
I didn't tell her till after the fact. Josh Allen was down the street. She would have been there for sure. But yeah, no. So that's what I remember about the London game was all the injuries we had, and
Yeah, it was
that's
rough.
why I didn't
Daquan
randomly.
Jones tearing his pec.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see what because doesn't the Chiefs play somebody in Germany this year?
Probably.
Right? Which is probably a time zone or more further east.
Yep.
So I'd be interested to see what those teams do this year compared to last year, and if they learned anything from the Bills going when they went.
Right.
All right. Come on, Sean.
I'm looking at it. Just give me a sec. I got the cookies up. I got
Accept all
stupid
cookies.
Kansas City Chief thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, they're coming to you, dude. We need you to do some damage. Week 2 against the Lions.
There you go.
Week 2 against the Lions. I'm still looking to see.
It's probably going to be a 9 a.m. game.
Yeah. Well, it's all standard time because it's 3:25. If there's bye week.
I thought I heard them playing. Don't they play I think it might be the Eagles in Germany.
Wow, that'd be a great game.
I'm looking. While I'm looking for that one, we already touched base with it. Jets don't scare you. Miami doesn't scare you. We're already
England doesn't
discounting
scare
New
them.
England, right? But you think the Bills have the capabilities of winning the division again?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They definitely do. I think something quirky is going to happen again. There's going to maybe be more injuries or something, and God forbid something happen to Allen. But, yeah, I think it's going to run through Buffalo again for sure.
In terms of their positions, you feeling good about inside linebacker with Milano? Hopefully a healthy Milano coming back.
Yeah, if he comes back, I think it'd be great. You know, I mean, it's all what is his knee going to be like? How is he going to feel about it?
Right.
But what do we got? Bernard, I mean, he's proven himself, right? Like right off the bat, this guy came in and was doing stuff.
And I think a lot of that goes with why we have a lot of faith in Bean, because he's picked these gems. And I actually didn't mention it, but because I didn't do the post Bills draft podcast, I almost feel confident that he picked these guys in the second round because he seems to have that GM talent of finding these gems later, you know, and sometimes missing on the first round pick. But I didn't have a problem outside of waiting up so close to midnight to see what they did.
Right.
I didn't have a problem with him trading back in the second round as long as you would get some assets.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I fact-checked myself. Week 1, Green Bay plays the Eagles at Corinthians Arena. Don't know where that is.
Is that the Brazil game?
Oh, that could be. Because it's an 8:15. It's a 8:15 Eastern Standard Time game. The Week 10, the Giants and the Panthers play 9:30 a.m. in the home of FC Bayern Munich. So there's the one Germany game.
Munich.
And then they've got 3 games in London, 2 in Tottenham and 1 in Wembley.
Right.
So
all Jags probably, right?
No, Jets, Vikings, Jags, Bears, New England, Jacksonville. So yeah, Jacksonville's going twice.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
for his owner there. So, but all right. Well, Stu, we've got you for an hour.
Wow.
And,
that was quick.
Yes. Thank you so much. Stay on the line, and we will finish up a few things afterwards. But
Stu, I just want to ask, I'm going to make the offer while we're still live. Would you be open to coming on during the Bills season and maybe giving us a follow-up, whether Detroit or where you are with the Bills, maybe mid-season around there? If you want to come on our podcast instead of doing like the Zob Morning Bills podcast.
Sure. Yeah, I'm game, man.
Awesome,
so if I become
buddy.
more negative or something, sure.
Awesome, buddy. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on, and
Thank you guys.
have a great, hopefully, rest of the summer, and go Bills.
yeah, go Bills.
Go Bills.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
ZaBills Podcast is a presentation of Kmart Productions, sponsored by MJB Electric and Dudza Chiropractic. Thank you for listening, and if you haven't, please follow, rate, review the show. It helps with the algorithm. ZaBills is executively produced by me, Kyle. Executive sound engineering by yours truly, also me. Fundraising, also by Kyle. All artwork executively produced by Avery and Mark Rochon. What the heck is this? All music and lighting executively produced by Kyle. That's more like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Good night.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.